Hi, welcome to Nia's Divine Garden. This is Dania, and today is another episode about the power of your name. I did an episode a while back about the power of your name and why, just a few reasons why your name is such a powerful thing, but I just wanted to dig a little bit more into it. But before I do that, if you're listening to the podcast, thank you so much for listening. If you're watching this on YouTube, thank you for watching. I hope that if you're new here, you will subscribe. If you like what you hear or see, definitely drop a like and subscribe and share. All of those things just help grow the community and my business and my brand. So I greatly appreciate you. So, getting back to the topic on hand, what's your name? So tonight I went into wanting to learn more, just dig in more to make sure I had them all on all of the various things that you can learn about your name. So you're going to see me reading. I have my notes up here on the screen. Um, and there are, not counting the individual number letters of your name, um, at least 14 different numbers that you can pull out of your name. Just your name, not including what you can learn from your birthday, just your name to help learn more, not only about you, but also about your lineage. So let's get right into it. So, the most common one that most people know about is your destiny number. You've heard about numerology. Your destiny. Everybody talks about destiny. I don't think I need to define destiny. It's where what you're trying to do, where you're trying to go. This destiny is supporting your life path, which is the number one number in your numerology chart. And this is based off of your full birth name. Whatever you were named at birth, whatever is on your birth certificate, that all of those letters. Um, and I guess I'll go backwards. So for those who never listened to any of my videos or content or anything, and then you're completely new, numerology is the study of how the energy of numbers impacts us. This is the energy of the numbers in your birthday, your address, your phone number, like the energy of the numbers, and also, letters. Because each letter also corresponds to a number and thus has its own vibration and energy and signature. And even as an individual on a letter standpoint, has its own deeper meaning. So, um, yeah, so that's the breakdown. And so each letter corresponds to a number. And when you add those up, you for your full name, and just for those who are interested in the math, you take your first name, add those up, you're going to get a number. If the number is not a single digit, you'll add the two numbers you get together. And then keep doing that until you get down to either a single digit or a master number. A master number would be 11, 22, or 33. So you get one of those can stay double digits always. And you do this for your first name, middle name, last name. And whatever you get for those three, then you add each one of those individual numbers up together. And then do the same thing, reduce until you either get a master number or a single digit. This single digit or master number is your destiny number. Your personality number is what you put out in the world energetically. It's how people perceive you before they actually really get to know you. So it's almost like your first impression. And what kind of things you let into your heart and what you share most easily. So this is based off of the consonants in your name. And for those of you like myself who have a Y in your name, you know Y can be both a vowel or a consonant. So the best way to determine which one is this, does your Y go yeah, or is it like an E, or acting um like a like it's in, well, even in an AY it's day, so there's still like the consonant aspect. So yeah, you know when it's acting like a vowel or a consonant. So when you're doing your math, deciding whether the 7 is a vowel, because Y equals 7, um, if it's a vowel or a consonant, that way you know. Um, your heart's desire or your soul urge. This is one of your top 4 core personal numbers in your numerology chart. And this is what it's your what and your why. So it's your driving force around the things that you do. It's what motivates you. It's what you crave in life. It's what you like, dislike, and it's really your inner you. So think about it like your moon in astrology. That's what be like your heart's desire, your soul urge. And so this is based off of the vowels in your name. Same spiel for why. If it's acting like a vowel, then treat it like a vowel, and make that 7 go into the calculation. And this is all, and for both of those, this is looking at all of the vowels or consonants in your full name. So first, middle, last, however many names you have, it's counting it all together. So your growth number, or I've learned this may also be called your active number. So this is how you advance or you grow in life. It also supports, your destiny and things like that. And this is based off of your full first name. So your full first name, the first name on your birth certificate is so important. Now, if you go by a nickname and things like that, that growth number can have an influence, but it's not going to have as strong of as an influence as the one that you were born with. So it will play a part. So like for myself, for the longest I went by D. So that growth number, actually, let me do the math now. 4 is 14 is 5. Um, so yeah, freedom, travel, movement, lots of change, fluctuation. That growth number, so having to grow and learn how to grow through change and things like that, did play a part in my journey when I was going by D. Karmic lessons. So as I mentioned earlier, each letter has a number association. So when you look at all of the numbers that are actually present in your name, there may or may not, but there may be some that are not present when you do your when you look at your numbers. Whichever numbers you don't see. So let's say your name is John. Yeah, let's just say your name's John. You don't have middle, like you're just John. So let's see, J is 1, O is 6, H is 8, N is 5. So there's no 1, there's no 2, there's no 3, there's no 4. You see how I'm going? So these numbers are missing. That means that energy is not present. It's missing. And it's missing because you're supposed to learn a lesson from that missing energy to tap into it. You're supposed to learn something. So these are called karmic lessons, not to be confused with karmic debt. Karmic debt comes from your birthday. Karmic lessons are the things that you're trying to learn in your life. And if you ask the question, does everybody have karmic lessons? No. I am an example of someone that, based on my name, every number in the numerology chart is present in my full name. So I have no karmic lessons. Yay. So on the flip side, so we learned about karmic lessons. So then you also have what is your subconscious or your secret self. And so this number kind of gives you an indication of your confidence in yourself, how competent you think you are about the things how competent you are in the areas for which you're confident, how you think they act under pressure, surprises, and it's based on the numbers that are actually present in your name. So for example, the how many are present? So I'm trying to use John again. So John, I think they're all in different numbers. So JOHN. So there are 4 numbers from the numerology chart that are present in his name. Because there are 4 numbers that are actually present, then that secret self number would be a 4. For myself, all 9 numbers are present. If you look at my full name, every number 1 through 9 is present. So I have a 9 secret self number. The number that shows up the most in your chart is your hidden passion. There's another name for this, and if I get it, I'll drop it in the description box. But the hidden passion, this is the one that's most represented in your full birth name. And it's one or more special talents, strengths that you have available. And as a fun fact, the most common one is a 5. And I've done a few numerology charts, and everyone's that I've done is a 5. So that was really interesting to find that 5 was the most common one. And I feel like the reason why that is because one of the most common letters used in the English language specifically is E, and E's vibration is a 5. So that could be. Then you have transits. So you have an essence, and then you have a transit. And both of these are based off of your name. So the essence goes along with your personal year. So you have a personal year number based off of your attitude number, and then the collective universal year. And when you add those together, that is your personal year. So you have a personal year, and then there's an essence. So there's a flavor that your personal year will also undertake. This is based off of your name. There's a big calculation that has to be done based upon the letters in your name and how they show up. It's a really long calculation, but it's based off of your full name. So for instance, I have an essence, I'm in a 4 essence for another, I think 2 years. I will have a 4 essence. So whatever my personal year, there's still a 4 current running underneath it that is always going to be ever present. Then you have what's called a transit. So everyone has transits in their life. So you have a physical transit, which is your first name. Then you have a mental transit, which is your middle name. And then you have a spiritual transit, which is your last name. And so based again on how those fall and the value of each. So like my physical transit is 8 years because my first name has an 8 vibration. And so on and so forth like that. And that's how you see what your transits are. And you just go through these over and over again throughout your life. Also, with your last name, being it's your spiritual transit, this is also your ancestral heritage, can be looked at via your last name, then the last name of your parents and their parents, and so on and so forth. You can do like a genealogy tree based off of the numerology of the names. And you can get really granular and go to each individual letter. But things that you can easily do is like the ancestral number, which is based upon the last name. So you'll want to look at the last name that you have, which is the one that you'll have the strongest connection to, most likely. And then the last name of the parent whose last name you don't have. So let's say you have your father's last name, you would look at that vibration. That's probably the one that you most closely tied to, and you may not. This can also help you see whether how much you are like which side of the family you're most like. And then do your mother's last name or vice versa, depending on how that looks. And then you can go backwards and see what that looks like. One example they gave is like if the name changed, meaning that as you know, missing numbers and energy evokes karmic lessons. So what karmic lessons have been carried over through the family? So you can look at the karmic lessons specifically of the last name and see what is the karmic lesson that's carried through your family line. See here, last name. The first and last letter of the last name is like the general attitude or aptitude and talents of the family members. So let's say your last name is Harris. So then H is an 8, S is a 1. And so those will give you the attitude and the aptitude and talents of family members that are in the Harris line. And it'd be interesting to look at other Harrises that you may or may not be biologically related to and see if y'all have similar traits. The first vowel is a generational characteristic of the family tree. And then if you marry and take on the last name of the person who you marry, then you acquire that family energy. So it interacts with your ancestral energy, which may be why when you get divorced, there's a desire to go back. If you've taken on your spouse's name, to go back to your family last name, to reclaim that energy and completely back. Let's see here. If you look at your first name, you also have a cornerstone. So the cornerstone is the first letter of your first name. So, for example, my cornerstone is D, and it's how you find closure, follow through on projects and commitments. So, D is a 4, and so 4 energy. You're thinking about structure, you're thinking about being organized, you're thinking about grounded, building, things of that nature. And so, how do I find closure on projects? Is actually, this is a really good example. I am a project leader in my day to day when I'm not doing this life. And as a project leader, I have to protect process documents and things like that so that there is something and that they're living documents so you can build upon them. But they are the foundational work. It gives the work structure so that people can easily follow it. Yeah, that's really interesting. The capstone is the last letter of your first name. Uh, the last letter. So hold on, and I did it backwards. Of course, reading my notes, I read them backwards. But this is, yeah, okay. So Cornerstone is the approach to life, overall outlook, and how you react to opportunities and change. Still accurate. If I know a change is coming, like I know it, I know what the change is and what is coming. Generally speaking, I'm trying to formulate a plan of attack. How do I, yeah, how do I get this done in a way that is conducive for all parties involved, myself, there's no upheaval, like I'm always looking at that. Capstone is the one for closure and the follow through. So it's an H, that's an 8. Um, uh, so, okay, so the funny thought that it's an 8. So 8 is often associated with with the infinity symbol because the standing up infinity. And so when I looked at closure and thought about that, it's like I don't get closure. I close projects. I follow through on the projects and things like that. But closure, I yeah, that's an interesting. I'll have to sit with that because it's like things go on infinitely, and I can look through life like, do you have any exes that you just really don't like? It's like, and honestly, no, like no. Even the ones that I really should, if you just go off of what happened, feel that way about. No, it's not like that. We could have straight like a really bad breakup, but eventually I have an Aries moon, and it's like one of those things where it's like flame on and I'm off. Like it's just immediate flame and then it's gone. It's gone. Once it's burned, it's gone. So I don't. It's not there anymore. So, huh. Do I get closure? That's wild. I'll have to talk to a bunch of people. Anybody else who has a last letter of their name where the vibration is an 8. Um, so that's an H, a P, and a Z. I'm really curious if you think you get closure. Yeah, I'm totally curious about that now. I have to really think about that. I really, really, really have to think about that. Okay. But then your capstone and your cornerstone together, when you look at the energies of those, how do they work together on your ability to embark on and accomplish goals? And for me, it's interesting because I have a 4 and an 8. So an 8 is like, 4 plus 4. So there's this double structure. And 8s are very, they are it's a leadership energy, very leadership oriented energy, strong manifestation energy. And so with that ability to manifest, because 8 is the master manifester. So the ability to manifest and give that thing structure, root that thing in reality with that 4 energy. That's very interesting. Oh, okay then. I might need to capitalize on that a little bit more. And then you have the first vowel. The first vowel is the essence of your soul and what you hold most dear. It's what you keep on the inside, the real person, the reason behind your motivation. And I would say this is very probably close. I'm curious to see how close this is to y'all's moon signs. So for instance, my first vowel is an A. So A is one energy, A is the first. It is the alpha, it's the beginning, it's the leader. Um, very, very solitary in a way, but action oriented, very much about self. Um, all things you think about A type A's, alphas, things like that. And it's one of those things where outwardly I'm the reluctant leader, not inwardly, if I'm honest. But outwardly, I would say I present as the reluctant leader. I don't, it's one of those things where like once I'm in it, then it's like, oh, she a whole leader. And I have an Aries moon. And so your moon sign in astrology, it's like if your house, just picture yourself as a house or some other sort of building or edifice, your curb appeal, the thing that people first notice and realize about you, that is your rising sign. So that's your curb appeal, that's your first impression. Your sun sign is more like your living room. You've allowed them into the house, they've sat down, they get to know you a little bit, and that's your living room. But your moon sign is your bedroom. Everybody don't go to get to the bedroom. So everybody don't get to see you in that vein. And so my moon sign is in Aries. So think about Aries, leader, the god of war, all of those things. That is my moon sign. That's my inner self. That's my inner landscape. And my moon is in my 10th house, which is the house of legacy, public recognition, fame, all of these things. So yeah, my first vowel and my moon sign very much correlate together. I would be curious. I might do a few folks' names and see if I can see their moon sign reflected in their first vowel. That would be an interesting correlation. That would be really cool to see. But as you can see, that is a lot. And then each individual letter, if you just break your name down, each individual letter is reflected in your personality. So, really looking at that and taking a look at those things individually in the order that they fall in. So, like the first few will be more prominent than the latter ones. So, yeah, that's a lot of information just by your name. That is how much power and knowledge and wisdom about why you came to be, why you chose to exist now, why the Most High said, you know what, I want to have this experience as you in this family, in this line. And, it's really cool because when I think about some readings and things I've received from people, like I have in African spirituality, in almost every tradition that I've learned about, um, we are basically the reincarnation of our ancestors. Unless we're like a brand new soul, we're the reincarnation of our ancestors. In one side or the other, you're one of those ancestors. And I have been in both sides of my family. So it was at least once. I've been in both sides of my family. So it's like, okay, either way, I'm carrying some of that ancestral personality traits, gifts, and things through me anyway, simply because I've incarnated through both lines of the family. But then it's reflective if I break down my chart and do it in my name. So that's really, really awesome. I do numerology, basic numerology profiles now on my site, but definitely looking to add like full name breakdowns as a service for numerology readings. So, which one of these numbers did you already know about? You want to share what yours is and what you've learned about yourself, because when there's so many different variations and meanings of the numbers, at the end of the day, this is what I tell people with anything. It's like what resonates with you. Like even if you're like, that's not me, but you really think about like my secret self, emotionally aloof. I don't think I'm emotionally aloof, but I can hide my feelings. I can hide them. I'm an Aquarius sun. So it's not out of the realm of possibility for me to keep my feelings to myself. Um, if I end up leading something, do I feel like, yeah, I could probably just do it myself? It is a trait that I actively work to not embody all the time. But yes, that is absolutely present if I'm honest about it. If I'm honest about it, I was a kid, they give you a group project and I just end up doing it. Just end up doing it. And that is completely reflective of my subconscious self. Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, I'm definitely, and it's interesting because that's one of the only, outside of karmic lessons, is one of the only numbers where um your hidden passion is 1 2. It can't be a master number. It's just one of the core 1 through 9. Not gonna be no master number now. That was really dope. But thank you again for watching. I hope this was intriguing to you. I hope that you sat down and decided to break down your name. If you want to break down your name, you're like, how do I do that? I want to like kind of dig into this a little bit more. A through I is 1 through 9. And if you write it in A through I, then J through R, then S through Z, and put the 1 through 9 at the top, boom, you have what your number vibrations are. And then all that comes there is math, math, math. But if you want to book a reading, link will be in the description box. Thank you again. Make sure that if you're new here, you subscribe for more content coming. I had said I was going to stop doing YouTube videos, but yeah, I haven't. I haven't paused yet, so we'll see. But subscribe, give us a like and a share, and thank you so much for sharing space with me. And I really hope that you have a great day.